Today, I want to pick up where I left off in my previous video about tea tree oil. Now, as a brief recap, I previously discussed how it was one of the most popular essential oils, and I talked about its natural origin and its many versatile uses, which is one of the main reasons why it is so esteemed. I also highlighted that its popularity came with a price. Specifically, there's been a backlash of its success. Recently, the European regulations are considering classifying it as a reproductive toxin. Now, thankfully, the Australian Tea Tree Industry Association is teaming up with powerful leaders in the cosmetics industry to challenge this proposal. And they're also compiling studies that provide evidence of the many effective uses of tea tree oil and its safety. So that is great. They also are analyzing the recent study, which was a rodent study that had many flaws in it that led these regulators to flag tea tree oil. So stay tuned for that. But I wanted to definitely bring attention to that first and just give a brief overview of tea tree before I got into the latest that I want to talk to you about with tea tree, which is all its many benefits, because we need to pay attention to these regulations. If it happens in Europe, it could likely happen on a global scale, and that could impact our access to it and our ability to use tea tree oil. So just make sure that you're aware and any action steps that you might come across that you take as far as writing legislators and such. Okay, so with those unpleasantries out of the way about what could happen to our tea tree oil, but hasn't happened yet, thankfully, I want to focus on all of its many beautiful qualities and its uses and how it has been used clinically in various human studies, as well as some of the mechanistic studies from rodents and animals and petri dish studies. So, what I do in the latest episode of the Essential Oil Revolution is I give an overview of Melaleuca or tea tree oil, and then I talk about, again, its many uses and its benefits. So, let me just give you a little brief introduction. So, if we talk about the Melaleuca family, it's a genus of shrubs and trees in the Myrtle family, the Myrtaceae family, which is a dicotyledon plant. And other known members of this family include myrtle, clove, guava, fajora, allspice, and eucalyptus. There's over 3,300 species in the myrtle family, and they're known for their diversity and wide range of features. But their commonality is that all of them are woody. They all have essential oils and flower parts in multiples of 4 and 5. If we look at Melaleuca species within the Myrtle family, there's 236 described species of Melaleuca, and 230 of those 236 are endemic to Australia. But there are a few in Malaysia, Indonesia, New Guinea, and the Solomon Islands and New Caledonia. Melaleuca is actually the most common name for the plant, and this is pretty cool and rare because the name of the genus and the species is not necessarily the common language when people talk about plants. But the larger species, people do refer to them as paperbacks, and some of the smaller types as honey myrtles. They all have non-volatile compounds shared among the Melaleucas, which include phenols, betanes, and triterpenes. If we look specifically at our focus today, Melaleuca Alternifolia, our tea tree, it's well known for the essential oil mostly. And this is because of its highly antimicrobial, antifungal, antibacterial properties. This is related to its standardization to the compound terpenforol. And terpenforol has these strong antimicrobial properties. It's a compound that also appears to increase the activity of white blood cells, which actually help the body fight germs and other foreign invaders. This was mostly through petri dish and animal studies. But the germ fighting properties that tea tree has have made it a valued remedy for treating bacterial and fungal skin conditions, preventing infections, and promoting healing. And until a recent scare with regulators, it's been accepted to be safe and used for years for topical applications. Now, how tea tree oil was named is kind of a mystery, but there are some theories. According to the New World Encyclopedia, it was given in 1770 by the British explorer Captain James Cook and his crew. And the crew used the essential oils originally for the tea, but later mixed them with spruce leaves as a beer. The tea tree was not actually very appetizing for making a tea. So some feel that that wasn't really true and that the name actually came from the brown coloration of the water courses caused by the shed of the leaves from this species and other similar species. So you can see how that would look kind of like a tea. So it was tea tree oil. And the tea tree is actually used for a related genus as well, Leptosporium, but both Leptosporium and Melaleuca are members of the Myrtle family. So that's a little bit of background on tea tree essential oil. If you want to learn more about what it's actually used for, why it was used during World War II and then it fell out of favor, an overview of the conditions and why it's helpful for those specific conditions, uses and benefits and its applications, as well as some DIYs, if tea tree oil is actually effective against scabies and head lice. Yes, there are some studies for that, so you want to tune in for that. You want to click on the link in the video description for the essential oil revolution and listen to the full episode, and I will go down that whole list. I compiled a bunch of studies from many different sources, including some of my own blogs. So in the link in the video description, we'll send you over the show with all the resources. And I also have additional resources on my homepage, and I'll also have the link within that blog to the previous video on tea tree oil in case you want to catch up and learn more about those regulations if you missed it. All right, so thank you for joining me today, and I will be back with another video and another post real soon. Take good care till then.